8:30. Bum diddy bum diddy bum bum bum. I'm sorry, y'all. This is Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. You supposed to go boom, boom, boom. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show.
Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation. The man made a jingle for his show.
Why did he have to come in singing like Barry White? Steve Copeland. Hey, family, how y'all doing? This is Steve Copeland from the Couch Conversation Show. I almost said the Book Breakers. Soon to come is the Miracle Network show broadcasting. We will be having open slots for anyone who would like to come out and broadcast onto the Miracle Network. We will be doing commercials as well. We will be doing advertising. So anyone that wants to advertise their business through us, Barbie Johnson, Miss Barbie Johnson from the Book Breakers, and Tisha Winkler. Did I say it right?
Yes.
From the Book Breakers, because y'all know I jack a name up real quick, right? From the Book Breakers. And this is what we're doing. I don't know how to mess with that, Chris.
Don't worry, keep talking.
I'm new to all this. But anyway, I posted earlier that we will have Chris Anderson on this evening. And if y'all have any questions, feel free to call in and ask Chris or put your messages up here and I'll see it. I want to make sure this is from today or I
was talking to him.
Oh, today or from the other day. I see some questions from the other day, I believe. But still, we're just tuning in. So we got Chris Anderson here. Chris Anderson, I met him from Communities United. And we went to Detroit, right?
Detroit together. We went to Detroit together for a liberal conference.
Right.
We're gonna talk about that tonight.
And for a lot of y'all that don't understand, I admire this dude right here because I know he's serious about, trying to do what he can for Baltimore City. And I don't really mean trying, but try. But he does what he can do. Excuse me.
Sorry, I'm messing with your setup.
Yeah, don't touch nothing. It's too expensive.
Right.
Y'all know this gonna be real stupid with us. But yeah, Chris, man, I'm gonna tell y'all, and it's not to skip anything. We don't really have a topic. I just wanted Chris to come out. I thought about Chris the other day, and I'm like, I want him to come out. I know this is a great man. I know he wants to do what's best by Baltimore City. I already know all that. He know my fight. He know my cry. He know my yells, my screams, my wilding outs, all of that. But what I love about Chris, he know my heart when it comes to Baltimore City. Chris reached out to me a while back when the 8, if I'm not mistaken, Black Republicans ran.
Yeah.
Is it 8?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure I say right.
It was not.
It was 9?
But it was
okay.
enough Republicans running in Baltimore City, and I reached out to you.
Okay. Chris reached out to me, right? And he was like, Steve Copeland, can you come and help us win? He wanted me to come. Y'all know I got big mouth, right? So he wanted me to come over to help the Republican Party win their seats. And I was like, okay, Chris, now, I don't want to go too deep because I get ready to say, y'all know people cheat. Real simple. They cheat. They cheat. So what I was telling Chris, I said, Chris, I'll come over and I'll help y'all get them a run for their money. Because when it comes to our politicians, they know with Baltimore City, I do not play. I don't play. And my whole thing is I just want to see Baltimore City move out of that number 1 or number 2 slot of being the worst city to ever come and visit. That's what I want us to do. I want us to be able to move us out of that position. So when Chris asked me to come over, now I knew in a sense that the Republican Party probably wouldn't win, but I knew they would give them a run for their money. I knew that. And that's what I was telling Chris. You know, we can give them a run for their money because Big Mouth over here. You know what I mean? I'm talking about me. But the YouTube, it turned out pretty nice. It turned out pretty nice for the recognition for Baltimore City. I think Chris does an excellent job. I don't agree with a lot of other stuff that might go on around certain things, but I know when it comes to Baltimore City, I know where his heart and where his mind is at when it comes to Baltimore City as a whole. And not just him, it's a lot more of y'all. But I got Chris on here right now. But anyway, at that time, Chris, you was running for council member?
At the time?
At that time. When you first asked me, he was running for city council. He was running for city council back then when he asked me to come over here and let's beat up the Democrats, right? I'm just telling y'all. I mean, he right here. Am I lying?
Not lying.
I'm telling you. So
why don't you tell him? Why don't you tell him? You could put you all the way out there. Why don't you tell him we asked you also to run? Represent this district. He shivered when I.
No, I did not. No, I did not. No, I did not. Anyway, he's running now for senator seat, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's running for state senator. That's you running up against
Antonio Hayes.
Antonio Hayes.
Yes.
You know, I grew up with his mother and father.
Everybody, I'm so tired of
West Baltimore.
If I see one more person say they. I swear.
Me and his uncles and us.
You looking at me funny about his cousins done walked up on me on the campaign trail.
We sold drugs back in the day, bro.
I heard, man. Antonio Hayes must be the man up in this Baltimore, man. Must be the man up in Baltimore.
I don't know about that, but
he's been maybe back in the day, because every time I'm walking around, I'm campaigning, all I hear is, I'm Antonio Hayes is this, I'm his cousin, this and that. I know his cousins, I know his family. His cousin family right next. It's ironic that me and him are running against each other. His family lives right by Montebello. My family lived on Lakeside, which is a block over from Montebello. And I'm like, this man is really known in Baltimore. But, you know, I'm known in Baltimore. Well, I wouldn't say known. I'm all through Baltimore as well, but I'm not as well known. And we're going to talk about that today, exactly why, and get into and dive into that. But go ahead.
Well, actually, Antonio Hayes, I remember this little kid running around, right? And he just seemed different from everybody else, all the other kids, right?
Antonio Hayes?
And every time I would go up Pennsylvania, Clifton, Fulton Avenue, back up the way, I would always ask about Antonio Hayes. And nobody could give me an answer, but I met his brother-in-law at one of the places I was making a delivery to. And he happened to tell me that he was married to his sister and blah, 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 right? But then when I found out that was Pinky's son, I was like, oh my God. Because he said something smart about Barbara Robinson, said that old lady need to go and sit her butt down. I was coming for him. I was going to come for him. But when I found out that was Pinky's son, I said, never mind. I said, never mind, backed up. But anyway, it's just to know the great things or how his life turned out. But anyway, Chris, that's it. With my little nephew, you know, I sent him a message the other day.
Great. What'd you tell
just
him?
To let him know about somebody showed him a book looked like a Bible with numbers in it, like the yellow page books back in the old days.
Yeah.
And it took me all the way back to White, like Linden Avenue, Drew Hill, and all that type of stuff, man. But anyway, that was us. But I wanted Chris to come out because I love his views and values. You know, I'm not a big Trump fan, not as president-wise, but when it comes to some of that gangster moves and the slicky woo-woo stuff, he do remind me of how things used to be back in the days, you know, when I was out in that certain lifestyle. So he do, I'm sorry, bro.
No, go ahead, talk.
It reminds me, you got to push that out. It reminds me of back in the day when we used to play the people. And that's what Trump is good with that. Y'all are a lot of suckers when it comes to Trump. Y'all are a lot of suckers when it comes to Trump. Y'all are a lot of suckers when it comes to Trump.
That is not true.
Yeah, it is. I know Trump.
We'll talk.
We'll talk later.
I know Trump.
We'll talk later.
I know Trump.
We'll talk later. But anyway, once again, we got to talk about Christopher Anderson because I admire what he's doing. And I'm sorry, Chris, why your dad going?
It's fine. It's fine.
That kind of ghetto. That I was putting that curtain back there.
I know you need a logo or something. Like
Yeah,
that.
we ordered the logo.
Oh, for real? You gonna put it up there?
Yeah, when it
No,
comes.
we didn't.
Can I do an introduction while we at?
Okay, I'm
And
sorry.
then can you introduce? Why don't you introduce the lady first? Why don't you introduce the lady?
Everybody knows the book burger.
The back. I mean,
He said the black burger.
Y'all see
Fuck
this
it, the
on his
name.
mind.
no, I got their name.
Because he came in here talking about back and breaks. I mean,
See, you can't even get it. It's breaking backs.
breaking.
So we're gonna have a new
Barbie
name.
straightened him out. She said, no, the book breakers.
Book breakers, get it right, Mr.
No,
Anderson.
no,
You're running for
seriously,
Senate.
Seriously, though. Seriously, though, y'all. This is Barbie Johnson from the Book Breakers. Yes, sir. And this is my good friend. I really don't know how to give him too many names, but I love this dude. Let me just put it like that. Christopher Anderson.
All
Running.
right. Yes.
Running for Senate seat. Antonio Hayes, you better watch out, man, because I'm going to fill him up with a lot of West Side stuff. Christopher Anderson.
All right. Well, I want to just say, thank you, Steve, for having me on. It's
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. And I want to tell your audience, most of the people that are watching right now, we're going to have a lot. It's probably going to be a very viewed show. They know our history. And I'm going to tell our history as far as the Republican thing before that, so we can get to a place where people can understand our mindset. Because one of the questions I get all the time, and matter of fact, you can ask me any question you want tonight. The audience can ask me any questions. Book breakers can ask me any question. I'll take any question, tough question. But one of the questions I get, huh?
I have my question.
Okay, good. I'll answer. One of the questions I always get is, why are you a Republican? Well, that's a journey, first of all. And I got through that journey by working with Steve Copeland. This is the guy. Everybody asks me all the time, you're in the community. What have you done? What most black people want to know, what have you done? And they always hit you with what have you done with the community? Have we heard? What have you done with Have you walked through the community? Well, I walked through the community.
Ooh,
Steve.
Yes, he did.
Yes, Steve Copeland. I met Steve Copeland. I'll tell you how me and Steve met. After we came back from Detroit, he's a community activist. I'm a community activist. And he was serving food. We served food through the pandemic, me and Steve together on the truck outside. I can testify to that. I know Steve catches a lot of flack as a community activist. I catch a lot of flack. Community activist is a thankless job. People don't thank you. They don't want to pay you. Sometimes if they throw the food back in your face, whatever. But Steve rolled around, and I was on his truck. I'm more of a volunteer than an activist, but I'll take the community activist part because I did the work. And Steve rode around and delivered food through Farrell's Point, downtown Baltimore, West Baltimore, East Baltimore. He just delivered the food through the whole pandemic. He delivered the food to several nonprofits. He was the one supplying the food at one point.
Wow.
This man right here. So I'm giving him that credit today. And I realized by giving him that credit, I give myself that credit, because
Kudos to you guys.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take nothing away from myself. So I'm not going to take away nothing from this man right here. And people will say, oh, you did what you did. That's nothing or whatever. We did it. Okay. So when you ask, what have we done and who are you? Where'd you pop up from and all that? We was in the community delivering food way before the pandemic, a thankless job, and no one even knew who our names were. So now, yes, I let God allow, I pray to God, I ask God, what should I do? And I parlay that into a political run. And that was my journey down that road. How did I end up on the Republican side? Because just like Steve, hanging around with Steve and more people in the city, Steve got a lot of complaints about the public officials here. Lots of complaints. And I listened to those complaints and I said to myself, you know what? I agree. But I did not understand why Steve and most people in the city voted the same people in office. And I'm like, wait a minute. And it hit me, a light bulb hit me.
Okay.
Who else is there to vote for? Because people always say, well, just put somebody else in there. Just put somebody else in there. We'll ask from them. But it's the same party. And I thought, wait a minute. The Republican Party is the alternative, not just somebody else. You put somebody else in there, it's just somebody taking over from where somebody else left off. And it's a successor of the same plans. Not with the Republican Party. The Republican Party has totally different. I looked over their plans and I said, my God, this is what the Black community needs. And here's, and I'm gonna say this, and here's exactly what I saw, and God showed me that. He showed me a complete stop. If you switch parties or vote for somebody different, it stops whatever the other party was doing, and then you have to start a new policy. And in between, you get a break. So the people of Baltimore, you need a break. Get that break. You get something different. You got to vote something different. The first thing you should do is say, I don't want to vote for these people no more. Because when they get their people back in office and you vote for somebody else to take their place, they continue their plans, screwing you in the back with no grease and no reach around and no nothing. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep it raw.
It's true.
Yeah. Some people say, well, if Republicans will do the same thing, well, at least they'll give you a break. They'll tell you to rest up for a bit and give you some. We're gonna give you some lubricant or something. I'm sorry to be real like that. I'm sorry. Or when I say, I'm sorry. Okay, I don't went too far. Me and Steve, we get hardcore sometimes. We had our conversations in the truck a lot of times. But the way I see it, stop getting screwed over by the Democratic Party. Stop. Vote something different. Go ahead, Steve.
And this is what I did, y'all. I voted Democratic for 40 years, and I switched parties actually.
Good.
I'm Republican, but my same morals and values are there. I'm like in the middle. Whichever bills y'all create to hurt our low to moderate income people, because I look at the poor people, the inner city people. The thing is, we coming for your butt. Real simple. I'm coming for you. I'll come and talk to you and ask you, why did you create that bill? And, you can be a cool person. I don't get caught up in the political side of things. Being a politician is not your character or your personality, right? It's a position that we take and act out on from time to time. And that's what I had to understand. I needed to get to know the person to see why people think the way they do. And most conservatives, right, when you out of that ghetto mind state, you become more conservative and productive in life with things, and you work hard for what you want. But what helped me really when we did take that walk and through Baltimore City, Kim Klacik was on the corner, a lot of other people was down there.
Was with us.
Yep.
Mecca, that's where we met. Mecca was with us.
Yep.
Like everybody in the community, and we just walked through West Baltimore and saw all the problems. A lot of people say highlight the problems. No, what we did was we brought solutions to the community. And by the way, ma'am, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Steve all the time and thinking I'm sorry I talk that way in front of you. I forget a lady's involved sometimes. I'm looking right at the screen. I see you sitting
I was
over there.
going to say, just look at your screen.
Right.
Because we both got on the same color today.
Right, I'm looking at you.
Yeah, I think she was in my closet.
Yeah. He should have said in the middle.
Still ask your question.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Who should have said in the middle?
You
Christopher Anderson.
Why? Well,
so his red won't clash with mine.
okay.
Y'all see why I don't pay no attention to people.
Notice the Republican red.
Well,
this is mindset being changed.
Anyway, when we walked through the West Baltimore, I was so amazed that Chris had the information that he did walking through West Baltimore, born and raised. And he was sharing certain things that, be honest with you, I didn't even recognize. It's a lot of Black-owned stores in West Baltimore City. And, over the years, a lot of us forgot that because so many of the Koreans then came in and purchased stores. But we went to so many Black-owned stores. And I was just amazed because now, mind you, I grew up in all that too. So I was just blown away with the information that he had. And he gave a lot of our Caucasians a good tour of West Baltimore and filling in the blanks. So Miss let me try to think of your name because I'm about to say TT. Miss Red Lady. Miss Bobby Johnson, is this something that you want to ask Christopher Anderson?
I heard him speak once before as to what he would do when he was in office, but I want to have him address something about what kind of, I don't want to call it a bill, what he would do about the crime rate in Baltimore.
Okay. First of all, I want to piggyback off of what Steve said about the Black stores just a minute, because my family, as you know, my family owned one of the stores in West Baltimore, Bland's Carryout, which was my grandfather, Riggs and Curry. It was sold to the Koreans as well. And my mom at the time did not think that it was profitable for me to be a succession of that store because she might have got shot, got robbed or whatever. Now that store is all boarded up. It's got bottles in front of it from people that have died right in front of the store.
Mm.
So my mom, I guess she was right. But what would I do about this? This really, first of all, you should know that it touches my heart because has affected me.
Mm.
I've lost a Black-owned business. I've lost generational wealth. So I know what that feels like. I mean, not many people in Baltimore. A lot of people in Baltimore say they got nothing to lose. They never had. I had something. My family, I tell people all the time, I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. And then when I turned 18, somebody yanked it out. It was a Korean, Korean person. He yanked it out and took it. But what I want to do about crime, listen, when Thuroo Vignarajah was running, I endorsed his crime plan. The crime plan that the city has right now is not applicable to Baltimore.
Mm.
Mayor Scott wants to have a holistic approach. I know what a holistic approach means. What he means is holistic. Whenever you hear holistic approach, it means we ain't gonna do nothing. We're gonna study it. I get so tired of Democrats studying stuff. I mean, with 400 years of oppression, they've been studying for a very, very long time. You don't know what to do yet? Listen, the crime situation in Baltimore has become a situation of Stockholm syndrome that we don't want to address. As a Republican, I can say what I want and I can be strong saying it. I don't care that you don't like these tough answers. The crime situation has become a Stockholm syndrome situation where most of your wayward family, if we really was a crackdown on crime, half the people in Mayor Scott's family will be taken to jail. So what we do is we protect a society of corruption. With that said, of course, we have to get back to policing. We don't like the white police officers doing it. Then I haven't heard not one person ask for them to hire more minority police officers in our areas, and not to hire out-of-state police officers that are white that come here for the money that rough us up. I haven't heard not one person say, "Listen, can we hire from within the minority community?" And me and Steve would have a job. We be police officers. You know what I mean?
I am a police stripper. I mean, yeah, I'm an officer. I'm sorry.
But they don't do that. They bring in outside sources. One of the things I would do, I would ask for a Black Panther policing a diagram like the Black Panthers did when they brought community policing into the community.
Right.
We're moving that way anyway. Okay. It's not going to be good though because we don't have the proper training. The Black Panthers had training. But if we bring in private policing or at least diversify the police department, we wouldn't have so many problems that we have today. Another thing, a lot of I don't just blow talk. I've actually have done things. So the body cam situation we have here in Baltimore,
right?
That was my petition. I was one of the first people to petition.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
I looked. Someone called me one time. There was a murder. I think it was Michael Brown, and I had a supporter called me from out of state and said, because they know I do the activism work and I do it online. I do it with Steve. I do it with whomever. And they said, "What are you going to do about this? This is going on." And I said, "You know what? I'm going to look into it." And I looked into what other states were doing. And they had body cameras, but the body cameras were not readily available. They were just testing it at the time. So I wrote a petition. I'm like, damn, with a test, we are suffering right now. And the camera said this, the research on the camera said that 60% of violent crimes and would drop with people watching them. So I wrote the first petition. I put it on change.org. I think it's still there. It got picked up by several other people. People wrote different ones and put it on USA.com. And if I can remember, because I followed the whole petition, I don't need credit, by the way. God don't, the Bible says do things in silence. God will reward you. I did that. Because people say, "Oh, you're lying about that. You didn't do that." But a famous actor picked it up, and that's the only way it hit Barack Obama. A famous actor, the guy that was, Steve, help me out, the guy that was in Fast and the Furious, the black man that was in Fast and the Furious.
Eesh.
The black bald head guy that was in Fast and the Furious.
I know who you're
I'm trying to think who you're talking about. But go ahead.
Well, anyway, he saw my petition and he said, "You know what? This is a good idea. I want everybody to sign it." He put his endorsement on it.
Okay.
The next thing you know, it had all the signatures it needed, and it went all the way to Barack Obama. And unfortunately, Barack Obama pushed it back to the states. But if he had signed a federal law, we would have less crime right now. So not only am I running for office to do something about the crime, I've already made a change in your city. You have no idea that who did that. These body cameras. And I went to the Baltimore City Police Department before it was launched and talked to them about it. So, but because of that, we now have body cameras as a reality here in Baltimore City.
And somebody else trying to take the credit.
Who?
I don't know, but
it's people. I don't care who takes the credit. I really don't. I don't have, because I said who real quick, because people say, you just trying to steal, you just, because everybody, our community is always
you should have
about.
endorsed yourself. I'm serious. You should have.
Say again.
I said you should have endorsed yourself for that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
But
But
somebody
it's
just
good
needed to
hear.
do it.
Yeah, it's good to hear. It's good to know, because a lot of people don't know what you participate in Baltimore City.
Right.
And as a community activist myself, or part of Communities United, because we do the work behind the scene, it's a slow process of saying it up front. You know, the
Yes,
results.
It is.
You
Yes.
know, but one
Yes.
thing I did learn about that, and I say it a lot, because Communities United represents the Black community in Baltimore City. You know, the elderlies, you know, rather it's fair housing, fair wages.
And me and Steve worked for them.
Yeah.
Me and Steve did a lot of work for them. But Steve, we got to tell them what we experienced, how me and you, what we experienced in Detroit.
About not.
Yeah, I'm going to say that, how the Democrats treated us. And it really wasn't the Communities United's fault. They put us in the back, man. Behind, who was it? Gays and Mexicans. They put us in the back.
You noticed they was gay.
I
I ain't paying attention.
Well, they was ran the colors number one, and they said it when they got on the stage when they talked to Elizabeth Warren and who was the other person that
Well, I
was.
must be blind to it. I don't.
I wasn't. What are you trying to say? I saw it. Gays are not colorblind. They walk around with colors. I saw the colors. Okay, and it was gays in the front and the Mexicans.
So
which was the largest audience.
so
and we were in the back. We were in the back.
I hope one of them wearing red
No, they wouldn't.
and red shoes.
No, they wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
But
Don't
anyway,
even look over here or insinuate.
anyway, I say that because me and Steve, we went in the back, and when we had to go talk to Bernie Sanders, Andy Sanders and Elizabeth Warren, who got booed, by the way. Elizabeth Warren got booed. They said she was a phony, and I'm saying it right here. They said she was a phony. She's not an Indian. She'll be anything just to get votes. She'll be black soon. So we keep falling for stuff like that. I'm tired of it in our community. Westmore is a prime example of that. He just comes out from nowhere and say, I'm from Baltimore. And everybody said, oh my God, we gonna vote for him. Turned out he's not from Baltimore. It just came in and just straight up fraud. And I'm for one and tired of this kind of stuff. Go on.
I'm gonna tell y'all straight out, because I went to an event that Dan Cox gave. Well, they gave for Dan Cox. And once I heard the guy talk about how a lot of his constituents are against him for actually trying to do the right things, I was like, my man. And that's what happens when you want to really make changes. You know, it's like people come up against you, but they will root for the ones that's full of crap. Almost cursed. I'm glad I lose the day Sunday. Hallelujah.
It's just how we are. It's just how we are.
And look, I try not. I mean, I was listening to Mecca now, and I have not read up on Westmore yet. I have not. I really don't care to read up on them, because they kind of put into position whoever they want that they can bully around or puppet with. So I learned that through my process.
This is a situation of that.
Right. So I haven't even really. I looked at them the other day.
Joe Biden's puppet.
Okay. Because I know it's somewhere along that line.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I looked at them the other day, and it's like, my goal was to do a little research on them. But from my experience of doing what we're doing and dealing with the Democrats, I mean, what is the Democrat? That one too.
Yeah.
Because I realized through Communities United, I'm thinking I'm fighting against like another political party, not realizing I was fighting against the Democrats to do their job. And when I found out this is who really running the city into the hole, I backed up. I got depressed. I said, well, if they want them to die, they just die. Because I realized that's what was happening. The very people that we trust and we put into place. Look at Baltimore City. And a lot of times I take up for the inner city people, but when you have conservatives or people that just don't understand what in the heck the inner city is going through, look around you. And when I hear some stupid people say stuff out their mouth, I've been living in the city all my life. I ain't never seen no vacant houses and stuff. I'm like, well, where the heck is you at?
What part of the city you been living in? Man, it must
Where
be
you
must
at?
be the more. She must live next to Westmore, and the $1 million home
All these vacant houses.
Yeah.
with the water bill. With the water bill,
What, about 21,000?
25,000. Let one of us get. I can't see how this man's from Baltimore. Let my water bill be. I'll be in jail.
Water bill got that high.
My water bill like that. The whole look, Hogan be coming to collect it.
I mean,
At my door.
Come on.
I don't get it.
How long? I mean, did it accumulate like that? Over
That alone
like
should tell people he don't
2,
live
3
here.
years.
He done came back and said, "Oh damn, the water bill. Oh damn, I forgot."
People keep it clean.
Oh, I'm sorry. When the news hit him, and then he said, "Oh my God, the water bill. I forgot all about that." Let me check the gas and electric nest.
I'm gonna tell y'all that I'm gonna tell you the whole Democratic Party remind me so much of that old lifestyle, y'all. Yeah. And when I look back at growing up, my mother taught me stuff like a man's word is his bond. Don't tell people you're gonna do something and don't do it. Or if you tell somebody you're going to do something and that chance or you see there's a possibility that you might not be able to do it, you need to let them know ahead of time so we can take another direction, something like that. But I don't know, some of that old school stuff, I still go off on. Your word is your bond. People watch what we do. And the only reason why, Chris, I was willing to run for this district. I was willing.
Yes, you should.
But Ray kind of put me on point. He said, well, if you win, because I was going to run on the Republican ticket.
Yeah.
He said, if you win, you're not going to be able to keep doing, like, strengthen the community, what you're doing.
Right now.
And when he told me that, and I'm looking at the work that I do in Baltimore City, I said, why in the hell should I run? Because I know, Bobby, that's why I was going to change the word around so you wouldn't hit me. But it's about being honest.
See me hit him.
She did. She bust me in my teeth. My teeth on. No, but when he told me that, I'm like, why? Even with you, we already doing, and Mecca too. Mecca is a bad sister, I'm telling y'all.
Out there doing the work.
Yes. We do the work. We do the footwork, the grassroots, whatever you want to call it.
Already
right?
on the ground.
We already there. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm doing it, but they fighting. Because I didn't understand. People was telling me, Steve, you fighting against a system that don't want change.
Yes.
That was the Democrats. I didn't realize that.
Listen, let me just jump in real quick and I'm going to let her ask another question. I like questions. I realized this before, Steve. I stopped on the truck. I stopped. I was like, Steve, I can't do this no more because someone told me, well, you know who, Blair. Y'all just wasting y'all time out there. Y'all, every time y'all do something, the Democrats, she's a Republican. The Democrats just change the law and just, every step y'all make, they put y'all 5 steps behind. So you got to serve more food. You better get that truck, fill that truck up, and start serving more food because sooner or later, Joe Biden's going to bankrupt Maryland and you're going to be serving food to everybody. And I thought about that. It hurt my feelings. I said, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I got to get involved. Because she's right. They turn on City Hall. So I said, Steve, I felt what he felt. I said, Steve, I got to go run. I got to run. You do this. I'll run for office. Because we're going to get left behind. And well, look around us.
Yeah. And
we're left behind.
And see, my goal, because I started hanging out with the Republican Party. They party, y'all. They party like it's hardy. They party. I'm telling you, they party. Well, anyway.
Food and drink everywhere we go. Free food and drink. Listen, they ain't the party. Listen, people always gonna call them a party of the whites. They the party of money.
They party. And I'm gonna tell you that's
they the
one
party
thing.
Of partying.
One thing I love about the Republicans, they know how to enjoy themselves. I'm just telling y'all straight out. I'm telling you. And they support each other in that sense. And a lot of us give them a hard way to go. But my thing is the footwork is the inner city people. Because people like myself, I don't need the system or rely on the system like most of your poor people do. And that's what gets me, because a lot of the laws that they create or policies they put in, it tends to hurt the low to moderate income people. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us know that, but we just don't care. Yeah. So when I come out, that's why y'all can't understand why I act the way I act sometimes with my compassion. Y'all be like, oh, he evil. Oh, he nasty. Oh, he mean. No, he's not. And I try to tell y'all that. It's just my feelings is caught up in certain things. You know, so
one of the things I know for a fact about Steve, and Steve will give you the shirt off his back in the community. I watched him go to an Asian lady's door, and Asian lady, remember the Asian? Oh, no, Mexican. She came out the house and she thought we weren't gonna give her no food. They were starving that bad. We had finished our round for the day and we parked the truck, and right on Farrell's Point, and it was a house full of Latinos. And a little girl saw the truck and recognized Steve's face, and she ran outside. She stood next to the truck and put her head down like this. I was like, oh my God.
Mhm.
You know what I said to her? I said, honey, you want some food? She said, and for the rest of the people. And I said, honey, you don't have to ask. You don't have to ask. I said, that's what we're here for. I said, you don't have to beg like the Democrat. You don't have to do that. Here. And we gave her all the food. This is what I see. This is now, I'm sorry, like the Democrat. This is what we do with Democrats. We beg.
Like the Democrat.
We sit there, black people, we sit there and we say, look, I'm gonna go in today. I'm gonna run my mouth. I got this platform, I'm gonna run my mouth. We go to them and say, can you fix our water problem, please? Can we please? And we put our heads down. Excuse me, honorable Quasi, we know you better than they're supposed to work for us. They are supposed to work for us. When you ask, you're supposed to get. You're not supposed to beg. You're not supposed to wonder. You're not supposed. It shouldn't even be any corruption. It's supposed to be the government for the people, not the other way around. And now the government controls us, and we are dependent on the government. And that's a Democratic plan that was put in place by Lyndon B. Johnson when he was president, to make black people vote Democrat. What did he say? I'll make these N words vote Democrats for the next 400 years. He gave us food stamps. He gave us every entitlement. Everything that he can possibly give us to vote Democrat. And here we are stuck now on the scene. We're not even self-sustained. Look, the Republicans want to give us businesses. Okay, they're not the party of food stamps. They want to give us businesses. They want to open businesses, want to give you a business, is going to give you a loan so you can run your businesses, pass or fail. That's the kind of stuff that they do. Lower taxes, put more money in your pocket. I call it the party of green, not a white party.
But we got the Green Tea Party. Did you want to ask Chris anything?
Yes, I have another question, which is in regards to veterans.
Okay, which I'm one of.
All right then.
Coast Guard veterans.
So, but these so-called programs that they have saying that they help veterans, it seems more like they're helping themselves. They get your information, and you're still left stuck. Because I went to one of these so-called places that said they help veterans. And then after they've taken all my information, my DD-214, and then say, oh, well, we can't help you. I'm saying, what? No, why did you take my information? Then I need my information back. We'll shred it. I don't believe you. You're a lie.
They're shredded.
I'm gonna help you. What branch are you, by the way?
I was in the Army.
Thank you for your service. I was in the Coast Guard, and I go to the vet hospital downtown. Now, President Donald Trump really put all the money he possibly could into defense and to the veteran. That was the Republican. I hate to bring up Trump's name because people fuss about Trump so much, like he's the whole Republican Party. He's one person in the Republican Party. Yes, he happened to become the president, but he's one person in the Republican Party. One. I happen to be another. I mean, he's one person. So it's not the party does this. So the party always helps veterans now, and we need more conservative politicians to help the veterans out. Like you said, the Democrats, they help. Some of these programs are set up, I think it's like you just said, just to help them. I mean, we can see this, but yet we still vote for these people. They're putting money in their pocket and then turn you out and put you out into the street. When I went in there, when they found out I was Republican, they told me have a seat. Have a seat.
Oh, so I need to tell them I'm Republican.
They did a little talking. Then next somebody came over to me and said, "Well, Mr. Anderson, yes, we can help you out." Blah blah blah. It took a long time, but they actually didn't. I was like, thank God I didn't have COVID or anything. I would have died. I'd have died right there in the emergency room. But you go in the hospital, they're supposed to help you, not have a long discussion about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm sorry that you went through what you went through. I guess they thought with me, oh damn, this guy, he's gonna go tell somebody, which I was. I was gonna tell somebody. But no, we have programs, we have veteran programs that will actually help veterans. So we're the party we had a party for the vets. Matter of fact, I've been endorsed by Veterans for Conservatives. They used to be called vets. I think it was Veterans for Trump, but down they are Veterans for Conservatives. So I've been endorsed by veterans. So I do have programs that will help vets. That's a love of mine because I'm a vet. You know, I loved myself in the Coast Guard. When I was in the Coast Guard, one of the most happiest things in my life was joining the Coast Guard from a West Baltimore kid that didn't have no direction. And my father said, and I don't know why, it's in your genes. God is good. It's in you. Like I told you earlier, God just leads you. My dad was an Army vet. And he said, son, just join the military. And next thing you know, I'm in the Coast Guard. So
Hey, all right.
I tried to go in the service. They ain't want me.
Why they didn't want you?
Because they said I got a big mouth.
Look, y'all, I'm gonna just go ahead and say, can I say it though? Steve?
Go ahead.
Steve used to be a thug back in the day, y'all, in Baltimore. Steve done came a long way. God has been with this reverend. This man's a reverend now. He used to carry a gun, man. I don't want to tell about the other stuff, Steve. Listen, I'm glad I know him now and didn't know him then. If I owed him $20, boy, it would cost you something.
I share my story all the time, so he ain't talking about nothing.
No, okay. Good. Steve used to be a thug, y'all. A straight enforcer in Baltimore.
No, but
give me the money.
Seriously, when I look back at things, man, and I look at my mother, how she always like took care of people in the community. You know, she would feed them. If they didn't have nowhere to stay, we would pad the floor down, make you comfortable, just like you laying in the bed. So a lot of times when I look back at certain things, I think about my mother. It reminds me of my mother. Even the fight I fight now,
your mom
you know,
your life.
yeah, and
she did say that.
and man, now I don't do the only one I really follow a lot, be honest, is Chris and Mecca, and I'm gonna say Dan. You know,
what about Giovanni?
How did Giovanni running for a seat again?
He's doing the question. He's doing the question K.
The who? What when?
The question K that's on the ballot. Question K that they tell everybody in the city not to vote for.
Well, I
term limits. Term limits.
Oh, I was reading something about that today. Somebody else's name came about for this term limit thing. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't know Giovanni.
He's still in the game.
Kind of assisted that because I know he was doing his conservative show, and he
helps out. He helps out.
He hadn't talked to me in a while. I don't know what's his problem.
He ain't talking to me.
Probably because I got red on. I don't know what's Giovanni problem. I call him Dr. J. But yeah, that's my man too. I love that dude. He's real. He's analytical. He does his research, and I admire people that do research. I'm not a researcher.
I call him Mr. He's a Mr. Spock of the Republican Party.
I'm telling you, I'm
Good
not.
Lord.
I got a guy that's this guy talk more than me. I said I need you because I want to shut up.
He's like, Chris, have you read the code? The code says, and you can do this, and you can. I'm like, Giovanni, stop, man. Good Lord, yo. Well, you need to know this if you're running for office.
He lied. That's why I call Giovanni Doc, because Giovanni is deep, and I love people who does the research like that. I just go off of basically experience from how things was before, what we did to improve it, or how you can help people turn their lives around. Yeah, but when people do the percentage and the continent and the Israelites over here and the brutal knights over there, I'm like, huh?
Giovanni wants you to learn the whole code of the city, the code that runs the bylaws of the. He wants you to know who Maryland really was. The lady name was Mary. She owned this land. We're under the land of Mary. I'm like, good Lord, man.
He lied because he sent me some stuff like that. I'm like, what the what? He was like, Steve, check this out. So I call him Doc, right? Because when he comes with what statistics and research and stuff like that.
Giovanni Patterson is a very, 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 very smart man.
Yeah, and I admire people who does that, who can do that. I'm just simple. And that's how I try to keep life, real. Now, Christopher Anderson, normally we're 45 minutes, bro. On here, we got like 44 more. I mean, I'm sorry, y'all.
I'm in the middle of campaign, but I got.
Yeah.
I came because you're a friend. Anybody questions from the audience out there?
Anybody want to ask Chris a question before
Well,
we
do you have
get out
another
of here?
question, Miss Bookbreakers? I'm sorry that I
HR.
snubbed your show, Miss Bookbreakers. I'm sorry. She thinks I didn't snub your show. I had a schedule conflict that day, and here we are right now. But if you
Yeah,
want
I
to ask,
understand it, but this is not the Book Breaker show.
oh, okay. Bookbreakers? Oh, okay.
No, we today is Wednesday. The couch conversation. The book breaking shows is on Wednesday. I mean
Monday.
Mondays.
Okay, I'll be back next month.
But guess what? Because you on my show and you have the right to ask her anything you want until we get off the air, because I know she's gonna choke
I ain't
me.
gonna stay here that long.
Anything else?
Alright.
Is there anything else?
I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm gonna just share this with y'all. I'm really proud of this man. I really am. And once again, the reason why I say that, because I watch what he do. It's not as much as he say, because what he say, he's going to do. And that's what people like him, I really admire. You know, him, Mecca, I want her to deal with the youth a lot more, you know, which I've been running that past her because they get ready to start some stuff
You
too.
want her on the show?
Yeah, I'm gonna get her here. Yeah. See, and she deals with a lot of the youth. Daniel Burgess, right? Is one, another one, and Adana is another one. Adana Black. Am I saying it right? Sony's wife.
Go ahead.
You not really familiar with her?
I don't want to mess up a woman's name.
All right, Sony's wife. I'm sorry, Adana. No, that's the name, but I might have messed the last one up. But yeah, these are people, y'all, that wants to work with our youth. And I have several more. One named Rock, who deals with the youth right now. He cleaning up in the community. He need brooms. He needs shovels, you know, to clean up the trash. And I'm reaching out now to get him that. But the Book Breaker show is on Mondays from 5:30 to 6 o'clock. The couch conversation is on Wednesdays from 5:30 to 6:15. And the B Moore's Real Team Talk show is on Saturdays from 5 to 5:45 p.m. And I just want to say thank y'all.
Can I say
Come on.
Just want
Go.
to say a closing statement.
Yeah.
This election is one of the most important elections that we have. Don't think about Republican, Democrat. Think about the best people that can do the job. And if you cannot find that, vote different, just to put everybody out of office and let them know that you cannot be taken for granted. We Black of Baltimore, we need to at least do that once so they can take you seriously.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris. And thanks for coming out. Family, I love y'all. And we are